Recording in progress.
Good afternoon. Let me go ahead and call the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee meeting to order. Ms. Oh, can you call the roll?
McBride, Livingston,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Mackey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
That brings us to the second item on our agenda, which is approval of the minutes from November 21. Chair, entertain a motion reference the minutes from November 21.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
It's moved and properly second. Anyone have any changes, deletions, suggestions? There being none, Ms. Carrillo, can you call the vote for the motion for adoption of the minutes?
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item 3 on your agenda, which is adoption of the agenda. Does staff have any changes, deletions,
No
whatever?
requested changes.
No. Chair, entertain a motion for adoption of the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Properly second.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Brings the item 4 on our agenda, which is items for discussion / action. Mr. Brown, you recognize?
Thank you. We do actually have Director Maloney, who has prepared a project update. While it is in your packet, if you would recognize him to come to the podium, we will provide an update related to projects ongoing here in Richland County.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Chairman Livingston, members of council. I'll go through the project update and hit on the things that have changed in the last 30 days. So projects in design is on page 7 of 24. And in that, we look at item I, Shop Road Extension Phase 2, begin a preliminary design process. To date has been coordinated with planning and development departments, economic development departments, and we've met with some landowners that are in the area of the alignment, but we're at a point where we'll begin the preliminary design into adequacy for a public meeting with the greater neighborhood that would be a part of the project area. And so that will coordinate with council members that will be in that particular location, which I believe that would be Council Member English. So that'll start what is typically going to be a 3-year process for design and bringing us into construction. Projects that are in right-of-way acquisition, Pine View Road widening, Broad River Road widening. Both of those are actively at a point where offers are going out. We have 56 paid on Broad River Road. I think at this point they're at 75 properties that have accepted offers, and they complete the paperwork and the turn-in documents, and that's when it comes to Richland County for payment. With this project and knowing we have a lot of widening projects coming up, we've implemented a program that helps track this through the process of approvals of approval for payment and when payment is made, working with the AP office on that.
Only before you go further, I think Mr. Weaver did have a question regarding the, project and design before you got.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Maloney, just on page 7, one of the projects in my district, it says at the very bottom, city requests a change due to landowner feedback, Croson Road. I don't need to know all the details now, but if somebody on your staff maybe can send an email about Croson, like what the changes are and.
I can give you a couple of points if you
Sure,
want
if
them
you got,
tonight.
if the committee doesn't mind, sure.
One of those is that the Gills Creek Watershed Association has limitations or restrictions put on improvements they've made to the watershed, including lower basins closer to the water surface than
Okay.
up above. And so there's a requirement that all runoff remain in a sheet flow condition. So the idea of an elevated walkway that would have pass-throughs for water or storm sewer, something that would be concentrated like that can't
Okay.
occur. So we're working that out with the city, who is indicating we could do a road diet on Croson and kind of move things a little bit further from
Okay.
the creek side.
I actually met with one of the Gills Creek's folks last week. We actually talked about that with Representative Bauer. So I'm aware of that
So-
situation. I didn't realize that's what you're talking about, but okay. Anything else there?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm good, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So in projects in right-of-way, we move on from Pine View Broad River that are underway. Smith Rocky Branch at Greenway in the downtown and Quarry area is where we have plans approved by Norfolk Southern. This trail will go under both railroad overpasses of the Congaree River, and the second of such bridges is CSX, and they're just starting their review at this time. The indication from those involved in the railroad approvals is that if Norfolk Southern's plans are approved, CSX will generally follow that. So that's just some information that should keep us moving forward to land acquisition, which is just underway. Lower Richland Boulevard widening, Broad River Corridor, Neighborhood Improvement Plan, Spears Creek Church Road are projects that in the past 30 to 45 days have come in where we've received the notice or the authorization to proceed to begin right-of-way acquisition. So those are all going under or are under contract with an expert in negotiating right-of-way. Just today, we received an authorization to proceed with right-of-way acquisition on McNulty Road from Main Street to Boney Road in the town of Blythewood. On page 9, we provide some, the list of projects we're actively working to get dirt roads paved, so that's our dirt road program. You do see a lot of District 10 in that, and this follows having completed a pro rata review of all the dirt roads paved in Richland County since the beginning of the penny. And the area that we're focusing on is an area that needs to catch up. So we're trying to get that to the same pro rata as the other districts, and you'll see that by the second column, the council district listing of the projects underway. They're currently, you took part in something that we did last week in order to get two of these projects moving along in that district as well. And these are projects that are proceeding with parcel acquisition for the right-of-way needs to pave the road. On page 10, we have projects in bidding. All our major projects are, in different phases, but within two projects that we are doing right-of-way acquisition now, the top two that I had mentioned, Pineview Road and Broad River Road. There's an opportunity here to put traffic signals in early. And one is because of the need of a bridge decking project on Broad River Road to the northwest of our limits. And the other one is due to just long-term needs on Pineview Road at American Italian Way. I know that's an area where economic development had developed a business park in that location, and it's difficult making left turns out of that location, and sometimes into the location. So DOT has approved the plans for those two signals. They're at procurement for bidding.
On that, just one quick question on page 11. Sunset Drive sidewalk, it says completion spring 25. Will the road be closed from Main to River Drive? Will that be closed for that period of time?
Yes, sir. It will. It will be.
Chair. I'll yield to the. I just wanted, Mr. Maloney, if you could, on page 10, item A under projects in construction, of course, Sarah Matthews Road, is it completed or is it being paid? Do you know?
Yes, ma'am. All the other projects are paved, except for Sarah Matthews Road. And one of the things they're holding off of, there is a private road that's very steep coming up to it. And they're working out a solution that's supposed to occur in the next couple weeks. And then the pavers will come in and do the rest of the road. But with that in there and any changes that we need to adjust, we didn't want to have the fresh asphalt on there for that. That road has a concrete slab on it that's very short. The landowner of that has signed a permission to the Penny to provide an extension of that so that that's a navigable access point for the property owners down there.
Conceivably, we're looking at a completion date, probably end of January,
Yes,
sounds
ma'am.
like.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Maloney, just a quick question. I'm noticing this list of paving projects. I'm wondering where the other half of District 6 is. The average in here is about 8 miles. The lowest one is 5 miles. District 6 is 0.11 miles. I can tell you from some of the roads I walk going door to door, you need an all-terrain vehicle to get down some of these roads. My question is it still a chance that I can submit some additional roads in District 6? I assume this list is not 100% complete.
This list is package U. So when we first did a package U look at it and we estimated it, it was
Okay.
way over what we have remaining in the resurfacing program.
Okay,
So we did scale it back to, again, pro rata. So District 8 and 9 were behind in that area.
okay,
But it appears that this is going to be in the 2.5, 3 million range where we have 6 million left. So if that should hold true, we'll have another bid package to extend that. In your district, there is a limitation of county roads that are available to pave.
Should I send the list to you or someone on your staff or
To me would be.
to you?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Mackey.
Just want to speak to the record. I appreciate Councilman Weaver representing for District 6. I just want to highlight and bring to the surface the comment that you made regarding package U and the reason that 8 and 9, Districts 8 and 9 are so heavily represented is because they have not had their roads paid at the rate at which you have in your district.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we spread all of this around the county, that we support all of our districts in getting their roads paved. And we know that you feel that same way too, right, Mr. Weaver?
Absolutely, and from
Thank
the
you so
grateful
much.
citizens of District 6,
Yes,
we
thank
do
you.
appreciate that. I
Thank
just
you.
want to make sure
Okay,
we're
we're all-
getting our cut of the pie,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
You did first. Now we're finally getting ours. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. You may proceed, Ms. Maloney. Okay, now.
Just that, in projects in construction, you know, we have our list of 5 there. Of course, Percival Road is just moving into that category, for a January start, of construction. And, I think we talked about Sunset, and so I guess our longest standing project is gonna be, you know, getting into Atlas Road. It's Phase 1A. So, you know, we're looking at construction on that for about the next 3 years. Utility relocation and clearing begins this week. And from there, we'll be putting in sewer and water along that corridor. So that aligns with the groundbreaking on December 19th at that location. And moving down to projects recently completed, Alpine Road sidewalk and resurfacing. Just waiting for some closeout documentation and a checklist with DOT, but the bulk items are there and completed. We have a ribbon cutting on that tomorrow on December 18th. Both those events are at 10:30 a.m. at the sites that are noted on the website. All right. In your packet, we included the quarterly report further back. We also included the 2012 projects. Again, those would be the projects that are ordered to be the first part of Penny 2. That kind of is not a clean list. That's the list of that when council was inquiring about what projects, why were they cut in the past, and some were cut because of
Like to page 12, now, correct?
feasibility up through, yes, sir. So page 12 and 13. Thirteen lists the dirt roads that have been permanently cut because of issues related to feasibility. And then the final part from page 14 to 24 are the council districts quarterly reports. So just giving you the projects that are upcoming, under construction and completed in your district, and identifying the miles of dirt road and resurfacing that have occurred.
It's the way you had that broken out.
And that concludes my report on that item.
Questions? Further questions? My comment is, I've pretty comprehensive.
Thank you, ma'am.
Questions about that? That was item 4A on our agenda, which now brings us to item 4B, which is the 2024 State of the Penny outline.
Yes, sir, I can certainly open it by indicating staff had made our recommendation. Last night, we were at the Transportation Program Advisory Committee, and their recommendation is that we do what we did last year, and that's to, ensure we allow TPAC the speaking opportunities that they had, and that we also invite the stakeholders that we did last year, which included Department of Transportation, Richland County Economic Development, OSBO, as well as the Comet and Transportation Penny program.
And Committee Chair Livingston, if I may. You may recall, council provided input to its staff related to how you wanted to engage the next time around related to the State of the Penny. And you talked about wanting to be inclusive and providing direction on that. So at this point in time, really what makes this different from the last time around is that specifically County Council provided information that you wanted to be involved in and kind of give guidance and direction related to this matter. So really at this point, separate and apart or inclusive of what Director Maloney is saying, it really will be this committee and County Council communicating to us what it is that you want to have happen. So I just wanted to make sure that we can talk about the difference between what happened before and what may happen now, because specifically council took action and communicated that action outwardly to the staff. And so, obviously, we respond to you, so we would need direction from this body and ultimately county council.
When you say need direction,
Related to how you want the process to go. So it says the state of the penny outline, what does that look like from this committee standpoint? What does that look like from county council standpoint? You have a template, if you will, of what we did before, so you know what that looks like. You've now heard some potential feedback from TPAC as well, but ultimately, this body or members of this body voted in a majority and said specifically that you wanted to have direct interaction with what would happen with the state of the penny. So what that looks like and what that means, I don't know. You have to tell
yeah,
us.
my recommendation would be that the committee would put this on a future agenda, and we come up with a recommendation in terms of how we want to move forward with it, with staff input, and just action on it.
Thank you. I guess in relation, I think, to Director Maloney's report and you saying that, I guess, TPAC recommended, was there actually action and a vote taken at TPAC? I don't recall that happening, and so I just want to make sure when we say recommendation that that is what happened.
We did not have a quorum. We did not have a quorum for actionable items.
It was discussed,
Yes, sir.
but there was no action taken for a formal recommendation. Okay. I did, just for information for the body's purposes, in working with communications department, they did develop an outline for the state of the penny moving forward. As Mr. Brown stated, it was after us going through our conversations with the most recent penny and council voting, saying that they want to be involved in the process and that we work together with TPAC. And so in working with communications department, there was an outline that was provided to the TPAC, and they were requested to provide any feedback by November 6th, and we did not receive that feedback in time. So I'm understanding there was discussions at the meeting last night that Director Maloney is sharing those discussions that were had. And so I do think that, we as a body need to provide staff with direction moving forward, knowing that we're in December, we're out for January, and then we come back in February, and not wanting this to go on longer than normal, right? I think put it off a little bit or didn't do the same time as last year because of so much going on with the current penny referendum. We wanted to make sure that we had full data and could really have it at the right time. And so now at this point, I guess, Mr. Chair, I want to point out that, by waiting, this means that communications staff wouldn't have the ability to actually work on things in January to be ready for February if we wait to kind of give direction. So I did just want to point that out to the body so that folks weren't confused as to maybe what happens with the timeline.
I wasn't anticipating this, acting staff moving forward with anything that we're working on now.
Okay.
Feedback? Recognized.
I'm sorry if I missed it, but it sounds like, is it scheduled to occur in February already? Is there a date for the state of the penny? No? Oh, okay.
No, I think we just need to be able to tell staff to move forward. I think they laid out a plan, but we got to tell them to move forward with the plan.
And where's the plan? We have it. See it in the. If that could be circulated to council, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Just submit, Mr. Brown, I don't, not doing anything before we meet in February is not going to have an impact on what we're talking about as relates to the relationship with the TPAC, correct?
No, I think that certainly as the committee and then ultimately council, you kind of publicly talked about wanting to, have this relationship where there was a collaboration, whatever the terminology that was used, you used specific language. And I think that was just the key focus, was that part of the process was going to be, as the county, so I don't want to speak on behalf of the council because you spoke, but as I understand it, as the council, as Richland County being ultimately the responsible party for transportation, you wanted to have an inclusive voice in the actual sharing of information with the community relative to transportation. So that's my understanding of what the action that you previously took. So being able to articulate that and share what that looks like with the plan that's been provided, I think you can just, talk to staff about that. I mean, I don't think it has to be more difficult than that. But I think the only difference was that council thought it was a difference because you actually spoke to it in terms of your involvement. So our communication would just be review the outline, share with us from that perspective what you want to have done, so that way we can be timely. We can do some general things in preparation, but we don't want to take an activity or an action that ultimately is not the direction that council wants to go in, because council is the deciding voice. So you made that clear before, and I want to make sure I'm acknowledging that because you took specific action to articulate that. So it won't be Director Maloney acting at the behest because you are the body that made the call. So we just want to make sure that we represent you the way you wanted to be represented when you voted on the actions that you voted for. And really only you as a body can tell me what that looks like, because I can't speak to your intent.
And we'll we can easily clarify this in February. It's the point I'm making. And council can even adopt something if they had to. You recognize it, Mayor?
I know I'm not on the committee, but I'm kind of in a place where, we're asking staff to review a document without any guidance as to how to execute. And I think that's the missing piece. When do we want to have it in February? Who's the players involved? Do we take what was presented by Director Maloney and say, hey, we're going to do it like we did it last year, or we're going to, add a splash of council, whatever we're going to do. It just seems like we kind of dangling for a little bit.
The point is that will be the discussion in February.
But we're having we can discuss it in February, but we're also hoping to, or let me phrase it in a question. We're having this, we're gonna have the discussion in February. Is it your thoughts that we would also have the State of the Penny in February? Because that's what I heard from the presentation, is that the goal is to host one in February. So I just don't, we've got a month here where if we're looking to do something in February, I don't want to put us at a disadvantage by not having something to push, to kind of give staff a little bit more to consider. Just a thought.
And that's a good point. Mr. Brown, are you aware of whether or not staff, council previous action stated that we would have a State of the Penny in February?
County Council, if I do not recall them making a specific date of when we would have the State of the Penny for calendar year 2025.
That's my point was, I didn't
Gotcha.
remember a specific date.
Okay, so that makes sense then, with how we're moving forward. We're moving forward with the thought that the discussion will start in February, and at that point, when we have the discussion, we'll determine when the State of the Penny will take place.
That was my thinking, just based on.
You the chair. You the chair, so, thank you, sir.
Any further discussion? item 4.
That concludes our report.
There aren't, Mr. Mackey recognized.
I just would like to, please request staff to send council the full report of the 2024 State of the Penny outline that was shared with TPAC. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, that brings us to item 5 on our agenda. Turn to the
Motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly second. Ms. Carrillo, can you call for the vote for the motion to adjourn?
Livingston. Weaver.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.